And I'm Katie, and this is Impact Technologies.
So we've designed an app called IT that's designed to monitor and detect the force and location of any head-related impacts and injuries of professional football players during practices and games. So the information will be gathered from a sensor in the helmets, wearable technology of the players, and then that information will be delivered to an app on the sidelines. The app will be able to determine the location of the magnitude of impact force, the severity of an injury, the potential of an underlying traumatic brain injury, and eventually a diagnosis.
Okay, so this is the Impact Technologies app, and these are all the tabs that are right on the home screen. So as soon as you open up the app, this is what you're gonna see. So the first tab is team status. It just has a list of all the players on the team, some of their basic information, and their TBI status, so their traumatic brain injury status. And then when you click on one of the players, for example, Mark Dodds, just pops up with his picture, his number, his position, wide receiver, and then it says his status, which is a low TBI risk. So this is for the coaches before games to see what players are active, what players have a potential of injury, and it's just a fast and easy way to check the availability of all the players before games because they have it right in front of them. The next tab is player reports. So this also has a list of all the players, just a little bit more in detail with them. So for example, if you click on Tara Mahoney, it's going to pop up with her picture, her name, number, quarterback, age, height, and weight. And then if you go to her status, it's active. If you click on it, it pops up with Tara Mahoney's impact report data. So this is all the analytics and the graphs of any impacts to the head that she has experienced and the possibility of injury from them, how much force they've received, and so on. So then if you click on one of the graphs, the first one is force first time from one impact. So this graph shows the amount of force applied to multiple areas of her head and the number of seconds the force was applied for. So if you look closer at the graph, the y-axis is force and the x-axis is time. And there's different lines and the colors in here. You can't really see them, but the first one, the most important one, is dark blue, and it's the one that has the big kind of hump right there. And that is the skin top. So that is representing the top of her head. It's like kind of where her hair is. It's not her skull yet, but that shows that it was the longest impact time as well as the most force. So then onto the other graph. This one is impact force and displacement for the layers of the head. This one just basically shows for all players when they have an impact, where it's hit on their head and the way that it disperses, basically the way the force disperses over their head, the different types of force, so and where the locations they are on their head. So there's some like the skin top, so the top of their head, skin bottom, the skull top, so that's underneath the skin layer, the skull bottom, and then the brain area, so the brain top, middle, and bottom, and it just shows the impact, the amount of impact, and how strong it was. And then on the concussion protocol tab is the official NFL concussion game day protocol. So team members will have that right on the app in front of them, and they're still required to check it, so they can have that. They can pull it right up when they need to check it, but the Impact Technologies data is going to give them a more accurate.
Why impact technology? A quote from a TED Talk basically says that specifically in football, between 50 and 80% of concussions go unreported and even untreated. So that basically just says that concussions are overlooked in football, and the NFL is in denial of the concussion problem. It's often hard to tell for anyone that an impact that has led to some type of brain head injury because due to pressure from like fans, coaches, and even teammates to win, the athlete will never report the symptoms or the incident to anyone. Also, concussions can be really hard to diagnose because the symptoms unfold so slowly over time.
You're still on the first one.
So we basically want to make the game a smarter and safer game to play. It'll also help reduce the stigma and health concerns associated with playing such a violent and aggressive sport. And this will basically help the reputation of the NFL
That's the last
and
thing,
even
yeah.
increase participation starting from youth football. Our target market is the NFL. We decided it would be beneficial for NFL coaches, team physicians, and athletic trainers. We eventually want to expand our target market to youth football and the NCAA.
It's gonna be okay.
And the NFL will be a platform for app exposure to other potential users.